The story is, and congratulations.
Thank you, Alex. Great to be with you.
This endorsement happens from President Trump, which I don't think you were expecting necessarily. And then you ended up on the phone with him last night. How did that conversation go? What did he say to you?
So we had a great conversation. I wasn't expecting it at all. I hadn't asked for it. As I've said to many people who've asked me about that, I've said, I'd obviously welcome the president's endorsement. It'd be a tremendous honor. But I think the California governor's race is not necessarily at the top of his agenda right now. But clearly he felt that it was the time to weigh in on my behalf, which I greatly appreciate. I sent him a text to say thank you. And then he gave me a call and we had a very good chat, mostly about how actually, if you have a Republican governor in California aligned with many of the common sense things that the president wants to do, for example, open up energy production in California, crack down on fraud in California. If you have a governor that wants to work with the administration, for example, on forest management, so we can stop wildfires getting out of control. There's so many things that actually, where you see the Trump administration wanting to do things that actually help Californians, but the Newsom administration here is constantly fighting the president, and so nothing gets done and they end up in court cases. It'll be a total change for the better if you can actually have a constructive partnership that helps Californians.
So do you endorse the job that he's doing as president?
Well, my focus is California. Look, most of the things that we need to change in California, the fact that we've got the highest cost of living in the country, the highest gas prices, housing costs, insurance, all these problems that Californians face, small business owners. Most of my career has been in business, and I've been a small business owner. And you see the struggles of small business. All of this is self-imposed from here in California by Democrat policies. That's what we've got to change.
That's a pretty straightforward question. Do you think President Trump's doing a good job?
Well, overall, I really agree with the direction that he's taking the country. For example, on the economy, opening up. Look at what's happening with energy. Of course, you've got a spike with the Iran war. But before that, you had gas prices coming down right across the country because of the action he's taken and his team to unleash American energy production everywhere except California. I agree with the way that he's trying to reduce taxes, in particular for working class people all across the country. That's what I want to do here in California. Your first 100 grand, no state income tax. So the things that affect California, I think that the direction that he's taking, less bureaucracy, less government, lower taxes, that's what we need here too.
All right. So you've heard this, I know, from political consultants on both parties who say this Trump endorsement does two things. It essentially guarantees that you will make the top two, that probably Bianco doesn't make it, that there are not going to be two Republicans in the top two, that you're going to make the top two, and that there will be a Democrat in the general election with you. And then it essentially guarantees that you will lose the general election because that Democrat will constantly bring up the fact that you support Trump, that you just said that you think that he's doing a good job in a state where Trump is underwater by between 20 and 30 points, and he loses big in elections here. What do you say to that? That this basically helps you now but hurts you later?
There's an incredible arrogance about that statement, if you think about it, that there's no possible outcome for California other than another 4 or even 8 years of one-party rule by the Democrats. We've had one-party rule for 16 years already, and it's given us the highest poverty rate, the highest unemployment rate, many other things where we're the worst performing state in the nation. It is time for change in California. There's all these pundits and the Democrat machine that arrogantly assumes that yet again, the Democrats are going to run away with it because that's what happens in California, because they've got money from the government unions and all this advantage of the machine that they've built over the years. That is so arrogant. It takes the electorate for granted. People are desperate for change. If you look at the polls, there's a majority who think the state's going in the wrong direction. Why would you vote for a Democrat if you want change, considering they've been in power for all these years? So I just don't buy any of that argument at all. I think that when they see my arguments for positive, practical things. $3 gas, cut your electric bills in half, your first 100 grand tax-free, a home you can afford to buy. Practical stuff. It's not divisive. It's not ideological. It's what we need in California. I think people, in the end, will vote for it.
So basically, all of the Democrats running have all put out sort of similar statements about this. We'll just put up one of them that Matt Mahan put up, the mayor of San Jose, who said, Trump has spent 15 months attacking California, so why is Steve Hilton taking his endorsement? Trump has spent 15 months slashing funding, spiking costs, weaponizing federal power that has worsened California's problems. Now he wants to run the state through Steve Hilton. What do you say to that argument that you laid out ways that you think that he's helped the state, but a lot of Democrats feel like he's not only hurt the state, but politically continued to go after the state because of its leadership?
But it's not an argument. It's just a silly political partisan rant. You know, look at the things that we have to deal with in California. Did Trump cause the worst homelessness crisis in the country by far? Is it President Trump that's given us a public school system in California where less than half the students meet basic standards in English, where only a third meet basic standards in math? Was it President Trump that increased gas prices $2 higher than the rest of the country? Is it President Trump that failed to build the housing we need, so we have the highest housing costs? None of that. The real issues that actually Californians are focused on. You ask any Californian, what are they worried about? What are they most concerned about? It's cost of living. It's the inability to afford your own home. It's if you run a business or trying to run a business, the insane regulations and taxes and nonsense you have to put up with. None of that is coming from Trump or DC at all. It's coming from the Democrats who've been in charge of California for 16 years. And that's why we need change, because it's going so badly. And I think people will see that it's not. Of course, the Democrats want to make the whole election about Trump and MAGA and all this stuff because the record is so bad and they've got no new ideas for change. My job will be to say, look, we can turn things around in California. You just have to vote differently to how you voted before if you want a different outcome.
Well, this race is being followed all around the country and really all around the world. And some exciting news today. CNN announced that we are going to be hosting a debate. That is going to be happening on May 5th. I will be moderating alongside Caitlin Collins. So it'll be interesting to watch. The 2-hour debate will take place right here live on CNN, assuming that you make the stage. Your thoughts on that and sort of your strategy for that and the value of that?
Well, I'm very happy that you're hosting a debate, Alex. I think it's fantastic news for national audience to see what's going on with the biggest economy in America, the biggest state, with the fourth biggest economy in the world. And so people should see the arguments for change that are coming from me and what the Democrats are trying to say they'll do because they all know the problems. Those are things that should be aired. I'm very confident I'll be there. I'm leading in the polls. I'm leading on fundraising, apart from a certain billionaire called Tom Steyer, who's trying to buy the election on the Democrat side. So I'm confident we'll be there. I'm not sure about Matt Mahan, though. He's not doing so well, despite a lot of money that's come his way from big tech donors. So we'll see. But I'm looking forward to whoever's there because we've got a very strong argument to make that it's time for change in California. And I think that people will see that in the debate and beyond.
Tom Steyer, by the way, has spent over $100 million of his own money, which is quite something. Steve, great to see you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate the conversation always.
See you soon.